Following is the agenda for the regular meeting of the Pompano Lake Zoning Board of Adjustments, which immediately follows the reorg meeting for 2024. The meeting is to be held in Municipal Building 25 on Tuesday, January 23rd, beginning at 8 o'clock. A written advance notice as required has been provided of this meeting at least 48 hours in advance of today, giving the time, date, and location, and to the extent known at the time, the agenda of this meeting. Such notice stated the formal action may or may not be taken. This meeting will be videotaped, recorded, and will be broadcast for later viewing by the public. The notice was posted on the bulletin board outside of the offices of the municipal clerks, reserved for this and other similar announcements, provided to the Suburban Trends, the newspaper designated by the council and planning board to receive such notices and filed with the borough clerk. Please stand for a pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before I start, I'm going to Dave and Mike, swear you guys in, and you can stand up too. Okay. You want us to come out there? Yeah, sure, you want to come out, come out.
Where's the newspaper? See, they're coming.
You need to sign. Yeah.
Okay, let's read some.
No, you don't have to do it. Come out. Yes, you're all getting a raise for last year. They got it. We're gonna double it. All right, raise your right hand. I state your names.
I, David Miller,
Do solemnly swear. All together. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
I will support the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
Constitution of the State of New
and
Jersey.
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same.
to the same,
To the governments established
And the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state.
and in this state,
Under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people,
I will faithfully,
I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of
perform all the duties of
whatever says on the sheets
the office
the
of
zoning board of adjustment,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Thank you for your time and energy and everything, all the work you do. Thank you.
So it's
3 years? Yeah, you are 3 years. 3 years at double your pay.
It says 4 years.
I just fill those out. Yeah.
It's a 4-year.
It's a 4-year term. I've been doing it.
That's why I'm right business.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
That's it.
Okay, can I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Mr. Hunt.
Here.
Mr. Abate.
Here.
Ms. Curran.
Here.
Mr. Cross.
Here.
Ms. Bernstock.
Here.
Mr. Rowland.
Here,
Mr. Begg was absent. Mr. Luciani.
Here.
Mr. Fagula.
Here.
We have Mayor Sarah and Councilman Cruz as the new liaison.
Welcome, everybody. Can I have a nomination for chair?
I nominate Willie,
That would be Willie Hunt.
Willie Hunt.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You have to vote?
No.
You should ask them, any opposed? Any opposed? No. Okay, take it away.
Okay. We need an appointment for vice chair.
I nominate Frank Abate.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I gotta get a pen.
No.
Here.
What do you need?
Oh. I'm sorry. It's okay.
I'm sorry, Skip.
Disrupting my meeting. What's up with that?
Do you need a pen?
Because I gotta leave your,
Does anybody need a pen? Okay.
So we're okay with the, chair, vice chair? Okay. Appointment of secretary. I have a motion, please. Motion to appoint Carmelina Pissarro. Second.
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 All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Two open positions, alternate number 1 and alternate number 4. So they are still open. Can I get a motion for the Borough Attorney?
Board Attorney.
Board Attorney, I apologize.
We have a great attorney right here, Andy Brewer, so I nominate him for another term.
I'll second that.
Second.
Who's second? I'm sorry. Marie?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Real briefly, thank you very much for placing your trust in me. I appreciate it. I also don't take it lightly. I know that I have to earn it every month. So please feel free to call, text, write anytime. And once again, I appreciate your faith in me.
Thank you. Appointment of Board Engineer.
I gave you a cheat sheet.
Nominate Carl O'Brien or? Oh, shit, for Carl O'Brien.
Yes.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Wait, hold on.
None?
Thank you for, look forward to continue working with you.
Appreciate that. Appointment of Borough Planner.
Board.
I'm sorry, why do you say that? Board Planner. All right, where's my cheat sheet? We're looking for a cheat sheet.
It's there, it says Lily.
I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Colliers Engineering and Design, Kristen Russell, sorry. I make that a motion. Second. All in favor?
Was that Mike?
Opposed? None.
Thank you.
I say yes. That's it.
Appointment of Open Space Committee Representative. Can I get a motion?
Thank you.
Appointment of Open Space. So I nominate Mr. Jared.
Second.
Who's second? I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Appointment of legal newspaper. That would be the Suburban Trends.
So moved.
Second, anyone? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of alternate legal newspaper. We have none. Herald News. Is it there? Herald News.
It's one and the same.
It's one and the same paper. Yep.
They merged.
Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second.
Abate?
Opposed? None. Approval of meeting dates and times. I have a question regarding December 24th,
Yeah, I did
2024.
too.
That needs to be moved.
That's a tough one right there.
So, at this time, if we move it, planning board is the week prior, and if we move it up another one, it'll be right after our November
31st.
meeting. So if we leave the date, and then if we choose to cancel, or at that time, just leave the date for now, and then November's meeting, we can choose to see if that's needed.
Can I have a motion to accept?
Or you could just cancel it now for the 24th. That's another option.
I would say that we'll, go with the date.
Yeah, you could move it, right?
So we'll go with the date, okay? So can I get approval of the meeting dates and times?
I just had one question on that, Willie.
Sure.
May 28th, how close is that to Memorial Day?
What day is he talking about?
It should be the, like after, so. It is what it
It's
is.
the day after
May
Memorial.
28th, how close is that to Memorial Day?
It's the day after
Day
Memorial.
after.
Day after.
Yeah, so.
Has to be a Tuesday.
So it's a Tuesday after.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's
Right here.
it's okay.
Okay,
It needs to be changed.
can I have approval of the meeting dates and time?
So moved. Second.
Karen, if you-
Yep. Good. Okay, so then we adjourn.
Silly to waste time.
Adjourn,
Let's just do it.
Okay, so we are going to adjourn the reorganization meeting.
Time, 8:10. You need to vote on that?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
And
Roll call.
Ross? Yes? All right, I'm gone, 8:00. Time is it? 8:11. Okay, Mr. Hunt,
Yes.
Mr. Abate,
Yes.
Ms. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Koss,
Yes.
Ms. Bernstock,
Yes.
Mr. Rowan,
Yes.
Mr. Bate is absent. Mr. Luciani,
Yes.
Mr. Fagula,
Yes.
and we have Frank Sarah and others. Perfect. All attended. Okay,
Okay.
you go.
Regular minutes from our November 28th, 2023. Everyone had an
I think
opportunity.
I'm gonna
I'm sorry.
pull this one to order and then do a roll call.
So we are going to now call the regular meeting to order.
Yep.
Okay, we are now going to call the regular meeting to order. Can I please have a roll call?
We just did.
We just did.
No.
That was the close for the
This is a roll call for the
regular
Okay.
meeting.
All right, Mr. Hunt,
Yeah, here.
Mr. Abate,
Here.
Ms. Curran,
Still here.
okay, Mr. Koss,
Here.
Ms. Bernstock,
Yep, I'm here.
Mr. Rowan,
Yes.
Mr. Bate is absent. Mr. Luciani,
Yes.
Mr. Fagula,
Here.
and Mayor Sarah, and Bobby Cruz. Councilman Troy.
Okay, minutes from the regular meeting from November 28th, 2023. Everyone had an opportunity to read those minutes. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes? If not, can I please have a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Hunt,
Yes.
Mr. Abate,
Yes.
Ms. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Koss,
Yes.
Ms. Bernstock,
Yes.
Mr. Rowan,
Yes.
absent. Mr. Luciani,
Yes.
and Mr. Fagula.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, we have a lot of correspondence since our last meeting. Anybody have any questions on those correspondence that we received? None? God bless you.
Bless you.
Application number 1, BOA 23-07, Pro Print Graphics. They have asked to have this moved to our next meeting.
So if anybody is in the public for that application, if that will be heard at the February meeting, no further notice will be given.
So there is none. Okay, so we're gonna call our next applicant, BOA 23-06, Michelle Cortez Sinich. If I said that wrong, I apologize. Please come on forward.
It's terrible.
I apologize. So the evidence one.
Yes.
Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Swear and witnesses?
I'm just introducing myself. I'm Frank Materi. I represent
You run the show, you tell us why.
I'd like to introduce my client and the applicant, Michelle Cortez-Setnik, on the application that you have just referenced. This application is for a nuanced business that is starting to take root in New Jersey and across the United States. This is a micropigmentation business, which is in the paramedical field. Very different. It may get lumped in with tattoo art, but this is specifically micropigmentation where clients would be going to my client to look for help with certain cosmetic discrepancies that they feel uncomfortable with, that they feel that there's something that they feel uncomfortable, insecure with themselves, and they would be seeking the help of my client in order to have some cosmetic augmentations done in order to feel more comfortable with themselves, in order to be present in public, especially, as you know, it's happening in the world now. Everything is much more superficial, more cosmetic, and it causes a lot of people in our society to feel a little more insecure about themselves. We have provided the full application. We felt best that we would put in the words of my client alone, who could describe the business, the field of micropigmentation best herself. So I would like to have my client, if possible, be sworn in.
Raise your right hand, state your name, spell your last name.
Michelle Cortese Setnik, Cortese,
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Michelle, don't be nervous.
I'm ready.
So, just the way you explained it to me, describe, first of all, how long have you been a resident of Pompton Lakes?
So I've been a resident in Pompton Lakes for about 25 years now. So I grew up in the school system. I graduated from Pompton Lakes. I lived down the street from my parents in Pompton Lakes. I went through, the camp. I worked at the camp. I did holiday stroll, Pompton Day. My family runs the fishing derby. So I've been, around here, and I want to live here as long as I can, for sure.
And you currently have a business in Pompton Lakes?
Yeah, so I chose this town where I put my business. It's right on Wanacue Ave. So I have like a 2-minute drive to work, which is perfect. So that would be fantastic to stay here. And also I help out future and current businesses. I help out the PTA, I help out the fire department, I do all the tricky trays with shirts and stuff like that. So a lot of people know me in town, so I try to stay really local.
And you chose your new location on F-191 on Hamburg Turnpike. For what particular reason? Why did you choose that location to purchase?
Particular because it was perfectly right down the street, 2 minutes from my house, local, great secret little property that just is perfect for the business that I'm, hoping to bring to fruition.
Now, talk about this. So tell us, tell the members of the board, micropigmentation. Go through what, if I was a client, I would say, Michelle, describe to me what micropigmentation is. What is the nature of that practice in the paramedical business?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know micropigmentation, mostly because hopefully you don't need it. But micropigmentation is basically just like a umbrella term, which is basically advanced permanent makeup. So permanent makeup can go from cosmetic eyebrows, eyeliner, lips, all the way to, surgical procedures such as like scar camouflage, areolar reconstruction for mastectomies or other, transitioning surgeries, as well as scalp micropigmentation, which is basically replicating follicles of the hair to make it look like, you're not balding or thinning, which is one of my most popular procedures right now.
What are you trying to say about that?
Wink, wink.
Yeah, so, okay, describe that. And when clients come to you, first of all, when they come to you, do you provide a consultation about what your procedures are? You explain to them in detail what occurs?
So basically, every procedure is either a text or an email conversation just to have everything, settled and out in the air. Then there's a in-person consult where they come in and we chat, and then there's more, text messaging and email throughout that. So most of these procedures are booked like a few months in advance with just like a bunch of conversations going back and forth, just so that we're on the same page and come to like the best results in their procedure.
And do usually clients when they want to come to these procedures, what is about the privacy, the confidentiality? Do they want to make sure that it's in a private setting where,
Right, so that's a big part of these procedures because a lot of these clients, one, don't want anyone to know they're getting it done. Two, they had a traumatic experience where there might be like some emotional trauma and it's kind of like a healing type procedure for them. So most of the procedures I like to do are in confidence in a private setting where it's just like me and the client, and it's up to them who they want, to know that they had the procedure done, but I leave that up to their discretion. So it's usually a one-on-one only procedure.
And how did you get training for micropigmentation?
So basically you have to go through extensive training, tests, to get the permanent makeup certification, and then there's multiple training situations that you have to go through for like areola, scalp micropigmentation, and all those extended procedures, especially for New Jersey, because they're super, super strict when it comes to licensing.
In micropigmentation in New Jersey, there are a lot of facilities, a lot of businesses that provide that.
In New Jersey, because of the extensive training and licensing, it's not crazy in New Jersey. It's very limited. So luckily, I am part of like there's two main New Jersey licensing facilities. So I'm part of the AAM, which is the American Academy of Micropigmentation, which you need special testing and certification to be approved. So I'm approved with that. There's also the SPCP, which is the Society of Permanent Makeup Professionals. So luckily I am part of both of those. So that's a limited group for New Jersey.
And there's licensing.
Yes.
For it. And when is the licensing renewed? Yearly? Every 2 years? What is the licensing?
Yep, so there's specific board exams that you have to take first, and then it's just every year renewed.
Renew your license. And you maintain these licenses yearly?
Yes.
Okay. When you purchase this unit, for it being perfect for the confidentiality for your clients, do you have an idea how many stations you're going to have for? If this is granted, there will be how many stations for micropigmentation?
Right now, we're planning for 4 with an additional room that just has a secret special entrance, and it's more private for those really sensitive procedures. But 4 total.
And what would be the sensitive procedure? Would be the areola?
Areola, scalp micropigmentation. A lot of people don't want to know that they have that done. So it's more just about confidentiality for that, because there's a separate entrance. Nobody sees you. So that's why it's just private.
Okay. And when would you be having these appointments? Typically, when do these appointments for micropigmentation, when are these clients available for these procedures?
Usually it's during their after hours, just because they don't want, be questioned leaving work or anything like that. So it's usually done after work or super early in the morning when they have like a 4-day weekend, just to, get the procedure done, heal, relax, and decompress. So usually we're after hours.
They say
An
heal.
appointment only, so it's just whatever they're comfortable with. Since I live right down the street, I just accommodate the client, luckily.
Good. And you said heal. So now describe, let's say I come to you, so Michelle, I'm interested in scalp micropigmentation.
Yes.
My next question to you would be, is it a painful procedure?
So luckily, it's not bad. You're numbed the whole time. So I usually, do a few 30 minutes or so of numbing. So the procedure is basically painless and numbing throughout the whole thing. But I do like to just give the client a few days to heal, just, in case they're feeling insecure or nervous or anything like that.
And how do you actually, and this is a lay person, how do you actually apply the permanent cosmetic print on the scalp.
So
Let's
it's,
just use
yeah,
that as the
it's
example.
done with a tattoo machine, but just, very, very thin, needles. So, but it's all, luckily my tattoo machines are battery operated, so it's all wireless and I can move wherever I gotta move. There's nothing in their face or whatever. So everything's wireless and disposable, so that makes my life way easier. And I think it makes the clients more comfortable because it's not loud like a tattoo machine when you think about it. There's like virtually, it's the Tesla of tattoo machines. It's very quiet.
And you have everything, part of your licensing, you have the procedures for the health board, what dispose of all of the instruments, I guess, for lack of a better word, the used needle.
Yeah, and that's all under, the body art licensing that you have to follow, so. which
So
I
it's not
have.
it's not the whole machine, it's just like the one section, I guess,
Yes.
that, makes contact with the blood of.
Exactly. There's a membrane separating any body fluids from the machine.
Okay. And then you will have, I guess, disposable containers where all of these, I guess, use, let's call them needles.
Well, they technically are. It's just they're in little cartridges, so the needle is protected so that when you throw the needle out, it's in a sharps container. It's not, thrown in the garbage. But the needle is also protected in the plastic cartridge. So it's like an extra added protection.
And where do you put these cartridges?
Yeah, so they go in the sharps container.
What is
and
that?
then, just like, a medical sharps red container, hazardous material that gets later dumped at, Chilling for us. It's local.
Okay, so you actually send it to Chilton Hospital. Okay. And do you have to get contract with Chilton Hospital? Is there a procedure where you have to call the hospital and say, we're gonna be dropping off these?
Yeah, it's good just to give a heads up, but it's not, they know who we are. It's just,
Okay. So you have all of the you have all of the safety and standards that you will then dispose of all of this.
Right. Exactly.
Now, have you thought about, will there be any signage outside?
So this unit doesn't have any signage for businesses, which isn't bad. They have the, obviously 191 is on the front of the building, which is perfect, just to show where you are. But there's no like business huge sign or anything like that. It's just once you walk in, then you just see the little chart of everybody, and that's it.
And and I've seen pictures of that as she looked at all of the planners' pictures. In around your vicinity, I guess I would like to say your adjacent business owners, what kind of businesses do they have?
So around me, I have a dentist office, surgical medical dentist office. I think the plastic surgeon is around there. And then there's a couple businesses on the lower level that I think are more just retail.
But really around it, there's this dentist office.
Yes.
So in a sense, having this place where you're a paramedical right next to a dentist and all that.
Right.
In a sense, it creates a synergy of a medical facility for, in a sense, also for your clients to feel comfortable when they're coming to this new location.
Right. Exactly.
And typically your clients, you see micropigmentation, I'm sure it's not something where it's an inexpensive endeavor. Would you consider clients to be more economically, they're not just they're going to be economically affluent clients, I would suppose.
Yeah, especially for the just the personal cosmetic procedures, for sure. And then a lot of the other procedures are covered sometimes by insurance, which is
they are covered by insurance.
yeah. That's why I'm also HIPAA certified.
And but not all of them are covered by insurance,
Right,
but a
right.
lot of them are covered by insurance. Okay. That wasn't that bad,
Uh-huh.
Michelle, if you have any questions for Michelle?
Yeah.
Any-
Actually,
Yes, sir.
A lady in the school where I lecture, somebody made her a comment about her new lipstick.
Uh-oh.
And she said, no, that's permanent. So would that be the same?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, like eyeliner, eyebrows, lip color, I have all of it too. Any procedure I do, I mostly get done just so I could,
Okay.
experience it. and
Well, I don't know
let
if
them
she's your client.
Yeah, who knows?
I wouldn't say, but
But
she
you,
looks really good.
yeah,
You
and
know,
it's not meant to be like, holy,
middle-age
Well-
crisis, I guess.
and it's also too, like losing your eyesight. A lot of my clients are a little bit older or just have eye problems, so it just makes life way easier.
If you had 4 clients in there at the same time, how many workers would also be there?
Well, right now I have 3 workers total. So normally we just work on the appointment based on what the client's time is. So we don't have like all set hours at the same time. So luckily we're normally staggered. But if we do have multiple people in the same area at once, we also have barriers. So everybody is still separate if they choose. Well, normally it's separate.
I
no
was
matter
thinking more along the
what.
lines of parking, how many people could possibly be there at one time.
Yeah, so luckily there's at least 30 parking spots right now that are, designated for the whole building. But yeah, I guess if we had 4 people at the same time, the 3 workers, so we'd have probably max like 7 cars, give or take, which I think is like in the average per suite. But luckily my husband drops me off and I don't have a car too.
First of all, thank you very much for all your volunteer around town. That's great. And as far as I'm concerned, God bless. If people want that, it makes them feel good, and you're offering them something, a service for them, it makes them feel good about themselves, and that's great. I think it's awesome.
Thank you.
I like it.
Do you only do that, or would you also do tattooing?
Luckily, I have a tattoo business down the street, so I'm just gonna keep that there as long as I can. And then that's not on my radar right now, luckily. I'm just trying to expand the permanent makeup just to have a more private facility, because where I'm at right now, it's a little tiny, so it's not super comfortable for anybody that's getting a permanent makeup procedure done. So that's why I jumped on this. Right now, it's pretty tiny. I just got lucky with that spot.
And actually, one more thing, I just wanted to double check, you did say, and this is something that I was gonna bring in my closing, I'll have you stated. You say you have 3, there'll be 3 of you, so it's you and 2 others.
Yes.
And all of you have the same licensing to
Yeah,
do this
for the
work?
permanent makeup, yeah.
Okay. And it's always gonna be by appointment?
Yes.
Okay, it's not gonna be that, somebody drives by and says, you know what?
Right.
I heard on the radio, I think I want to get my eyebrows.
Mhm.
Or I passed by the school and those women's lips look fantastic. I think I'm going to do the
Yeah.
same thing and just knock on your door and say, can I have an appointment?
Yeah.
It's going to be, there's
More prep.
consultation and then it's going to be by appointment.
Yeah.
In a sense, how you would run, in a sense, a medical office.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And then, consult, appointment, second appointment, whatever that could come back.
And what would you, and you would have these appointments at this location?
Yeah.
Okay. Any further questions for Michelle?
What I would like to do is I would like to open it up to Colliers to ask questions of Michelle.
I have a question for engineering. Engineering perspective, I'm fine with everything. Everything's internal. So from an engineering aspect, I'm not concerned about it. I'll pass everything to the planner. You mentioned about the parking. I think you're under 1,000 square feet. So the parking that appears to be available should be sufficient with what you have that's out there. But getting it all to Kristen, should take from there. But engineering, I'm okay with.
Yeah, I just have a few questions, and I agree with Carl on his parking comment. Now, the use isn't contemplated in the zone or anywhere in town, and therefore there's not a precise parking requirement, but using as kind of a frame of reference, retail sales for a space of this size would require 5 parking spaces, an office would require 4. So it sounds like whenever the building was built, enough parking for the whole building was provided. So I think it's fair to assume that as tenancy changes and it's not completely, you know, an off-the-wall, although the use isn't contemplated, it's comparable to the other uses, it's not totally off the wall, so I think it's fair to assume that the number of parking spaces that exist should be adequate. I did want to ask, on your floor plan, I see the private room, and I'm wondering if there's more than one customer there at a time, and you're using the kind of bigger room with 3 beds, would those customers use the bathrooms in the hallway, or do they need to go into that private space?
Yeah, so luckily the bathroom in the hallway is available for those clients if they choose so. It's only, it's a key only, so it's private.
You give
but
them access.
Yeah, so we would give them access, and also if we needed to use the private bathroom, if they didn't feel comfortable, there would be a barrier anyway blocking that other client.
Okay.
But I figured give that up, like, that would be up to the client.
Right.
And I mean, to interrupt, if any further on the plans, we do have our architect, and then could better help if you have any questions.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, absolutely not. No, if there's any more questions that you feel you need more of a technical answer, you know, Mr. Tomas Bona would be able to answer that.
Okay.
He's one of our experts. But
Do you have a planner expert?
we have a planner expert, and we do have an architect.
Then I will hold anything else that I
Sure.
was gonna raise.
Okay.
I have a question. Your clientele, is there an age limit, like a young age? Can you get the permanent eyebrows if you're under 16?
Yeah, so normally it would be 18 and older. If it was to be under, it would be maximum 16, but they would need parental consent. And I haven't had, luckily, anyone that was under 18 needing a procedure yet. But if they needed it, such as like an alopecia client or something like that, then they would need parental consent, which is a bunch of paperwork and birth certificate, etc. But 16 minimum would be the age.
And would they have to have written consent from parents?
Yep, the parent would have to be there, written consent, birth certificate proving that it's the parent, because some people, just have the same last name. But it would be birth certificate, IDs, and IDs for the minor.
And would it also include a doctor's, recommendation?
I would suggest that, especially if it's like if they have a condition like alopecia or anything like that, just to double check and make sure like everything's okay. Or, obviously cancer, but they'd have to be after their radiation and chemotherapy.
Okay.
Now, Michelle's testimony, we open it up for, wait till we.
Okay, is there anybody from the public that would like to ask the client or the applicant, based on her testimony? Anybody from the public that would like to come forward, please do so now. See no one, so basically, sorry?
Hold the next witness.
Right, okay, so call your next witness, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Michelle, thank you. Absolutely. My next witness is Mr. Tomas Bona.
Good evening, everyone. Please raise your right hand, state your name, spell your last.
My name is Tomas Bona. I'm an architect of Bon Arc Architecture and Design.
Spell your last.
Last name B-O-N-A.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Please have a seat.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I will now qualify the witness. I'm sure you've done this a million times.
Well, maybe not a million.
Okay, 900.
And I don't have any trick or treats.
Mr. Tomas, we'll start out by where did you receive your degrees?
My degree is from Europe, from Technical University in Gdańsk in Poland. I finished with magna cum laude, and then I practiced in the United States. So I finished all my education in Europe, I came here and I worked for a big company. I started my own business over 10 years ago. I got licensed in New Jersey in 2010. I'm also licensed in the state of Massachusetts and in Puerto Rico.
And how long have you been practicing in New Jersey? So you said 10 years?
Pretty much since 2001. But
20.
being licensed since 2010. I've been doing projects throughout the tri-state area and farther.
Have you provided expert witness in other zoning boards in New Jersey?
Yes, I've been testifying across the boards from Central to Northern Jersey, closest to here, most recently in Butler, Kinnelon, Hohokus, West Milford, and many other townships.
Mr. Chairman and ladies and gentlemen of the board, I present Mr. Tomas Mona as our expert witness in architecture.
Okay. Welcome. Thank you. So the focus of my presentation will be, of course, the technical aspects of the space that we're talking about. Space is located at 191 Hamburg Turnpike. We are all familiar where it is, at the crossing of Hamburg Turnpike and Passaic Avenue. It's a corner property. The particular space located in the second floor of this building that the applicant is taking over is located in the south wing of the building, and it has a direct entrance from a common corridor and accessible from the atrium as well as from the elevator that connects both floors. The space is approximately 930 square feet gross area. It comprises of a larger open space that has direct access opposite of the elevator, as board members can see on our only deliverable, the floor plan. And then there is a staff lounge, which positions this suite well. I believe it was a tax office before.
It was.
So with minimal modifications to the space, this can be accommodated for the new tenant. There's also aforementioned private room located in the south east corner, and which has the direct hallway access from the common corridor, which works very well, as the applicant stated, for the nature of her business. And that permanent makeup room, the isolated space, has access to the existing bathroom. The bathroom has a bidet, toilet, lavatory sink, and a shower. Across the corridor, across the common corridor, there's a set of restrooms, men and women restrooms. They're serving generally all of the building occupants, so they're accessible to different tenants. The applicant would like to have in the open space maximum of 3 tattooing stations, and then 1 station most likely in the private room. There's a little bit of a waiting area next to the main entrance, and the building and her employees have access to staff lounge. So this is as the applicant stated, this suite is positioned very well for her needs, and with ease of access, the elevator, of course, space is accessible, and it fits her needs, and as well as the square footage of the space is adequate.
Thank you, Tomas. Any questions for Mr. Bono?
None? Okay, I open it up to the public. Anybody would like to question the testimony given by the planner? I see none, so I will close that session.
Thank you, Tomas.
Hold up.
We're good.
You're good?
We're good.
I'm following.
Planning questions, correct? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tomas. Thank you.
Next witness?
I'd like to call Mr. Michael Solano.
Thank you for that pronunciation.
You like I did it right?
You're among the few.
I did it right. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Please raise your right hand. State your name, spell your last.
I am Michael J. Pessolano, P-E-S-S-O-L-A-N-O.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening before the board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
So help me God.
Thank you.
I know him well. I would recommend he be accepted.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Brewer. I'll save a few moments of time.
So we'll make this qualification much briefer. No, Michael, just for the board, please state your educational background.
I will. I'm a licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey and a member of the American Institute of Certified Planners, which is a national organization. I was originally licensed in 1984 and have been practicing professional planning at the municipal level ever since. In recent history, I did have some involvement as a consulting planner for the Borough of Pompton Lakes in the mid-2000s, or late 2000s, I should say. I didn't work on the master plan then. I was more focused on the Highlands conformance stuff at that time. But I've also testified as an expert planning witness recently, well, the past few years, at 237 Hamburg Turnpike, a few doors down from the subject property. I've qualified hundreds of times, never been not qualified as an expert planning witness wherever I was testifying throughout the state of New Jersey. I operate my own municipal planning practice as a sole member of my LLC, MJP Land Use Planning LLC, located in Pagoda, New Jersey. I've also lived in Pompton Lakes, 2 different addresses, but I can't say I was born or raised here. But I adore the community. It's a lovely place. I do have a master's degree in urban planning from City University of New York as well. Need I continue?
Mr. Solano, ladies and gentlemen of the board, I present to you our planning expert, Mr. Michael Solano.
Thank you for that kind introduction, the opportunity to help you get to know me a little bit. I do have a planning exhibit to distribute, which will help everyone absorb what I'm about to say about the site and the setting.
I'll hand it out.
Okay. What shall we number this?
Label it A1,
A1?
and then once it gets said.
I'll just hand that.
Just describe it on the record.
I'll wait until everybody has it to speak. Thank you.
You're welcome.
While that is being handed out, I'll say that I did visit the site and the neighborhood, walked around completely, photographing it all, looked at the municipal zoning and master plan materials, of course consulted with the applicants, consultants and the applicant herself, and looked at the written materials from the borough's various agencies to prepare for my appearance tonight. So with A1 in everyone's hands, let's just jump into it. Sheet 1 of A1 is simply an excerpt of the borough's tax map, sheet 11, showing the subject property in yellow shading in the center at the corner of Passaic Avenue and Hamburg Turnpike. Going on to sheet 2, a representation of where in the zoning scheme this property lies, and it shows at the corner of the B2 zone, business district / professional office zone, fully within that zone, and actually tangent to the B1 zone, diagonally across the way past the triangle that is. You can see on this map that north is to the top of the page. And north of this site, you see the green indicating the R3 district, but that is not used that way, as you'll see in the next image. But the site itself is fully within the B2 district and framed on 2 sides by the R3 district. So going on to sheet 3 of A1, this is an aerial image downloaded from an online source. And I added the annotations as to use based on my field observations from walking the area. The subject property indicated within a dashed perimeter around the property. So the takeaway from this is, remember I paused a minute and said north of the property is the residential zone, but you can see directly across are 3 non-residential uses. So the significance of that is, if there be any impact whatsoever, it's not onto residential uses on that side. of the street. And I think that's significant in this analysis. The site is framed by office uses to the south and southeast, and across Hamburg Turnpike is a religious use, an institutional use, a house of worship, excuse me, and detached dwellings at the corner of James Terrace. Very little interface with, I'm sorry, do I need to speak louder?
Just a little bit.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you.
At the, there's very little interface with residential use, just one occurrence of that. But remember that the nature of this proposal is to occupy a fully enclosed space in an invisible manner, literally, because there's no change in signage, there's no change in the building, there's really no change in anything. People coming in and going and using cars to do it. It's that similar to the existing operation by the other occupants of this office building. So on to sheet 4 or 5, we have some ground photos taken by myself. On the upper left is image 1, showing the very prominent address signage, which every occupant relies on for their identification. And the majority of occupants are medical office uses, and they all do so without any outward signage. And my client proposes to do exactly the same thing, relying simply on the address for identification. I've superimposed with the yellow dashed rectangle the actual physical space on the second level facing Hamburg Turnpike as to where the proposed use would be located. Image 2 simply shows the existing parking field lying between the existing building and Hamburg Turnpike. In image 3 in the lower left, we have a view along Passaic Avenue, looking sort of northwesterly, the fire station, the borough's fire station is on the right side, and the subject structure is on the left side. You can see a little portion of driveway that pokes out into Passaic Avenue. And from the point where you see that one-way sign near that driveway, back of the photo, you can't see it in the photo, on that side of the street are some on-street parking spaces. On the other side of the street, parking is not permitted at all. In image 4, in the lower right, this is an office, a mixed occupant office building under expansion. Maybe it came to this board because it's a non-conforming property in the R3 district, but quite clearly no residential use in it. And it houses a number of things, including medical professional offices of an acupuncturist and dentist. Finally, on sheet 5 of 5, upper left is image 5. Yeah, this is a very discrete office building. There's no outward signage on it either about its use, but it is used for a design office. And this is located directly across from the Al Mustafa Center across Passaic Avenue. Image 6 is the office building in a historic building lying just to the south of the subject property at 227 Hamburg Turnpike. Image 7 is the religious use I mentioned, being across Hamburg Turnpike, and you can see the last couple of homes on the street approaching Hamburg Turnpike. The final image in the lower right is a view of the marquee as I saw it in June when I captured these photos, June of 2023. And you can see a number of MD indications, 5 in total out of 9. So that says to me a majority of the office businesses here are medical in nature. The applicant has purchased the A&R tax and financial services space at the second level. So that is the input from information gathering about the setting that informed my planning analysis, which I will move through quite quickly for everyone's benefit. We do have an existing office building on a lot containing 20,473 square feet. A minimum of 20,000 is required in the B2 zone. building floor area of 9,733 square feet, 9,311 is actual occupied space, the rest is common area according to the tax records. There are 32 existing parking spaces by my count on the existing property, including 2 handicap accessible ADA compliant spaces. The use you heard described very well, so I won't go into that, but I do want to say that I was struck so prominently by the similarity to a medical office, which is permitted here. The services of the applicant would be provided on an appointment-only basis, highly trained service providers in the mix, and only them serving patients who have undergone sometimes disfiguring medical treatments to restore normal appearance. And the treatments conducted in a private setting. So I see very, very, very little in the way of deviation from a traditional medical practice with this paramedical micropigmentation proposed use. In the B2 zone, as you know, it permits, as of right, business and professional offices, banks, clubs, lodges, fraternal, civic organizations. It also allows a host of conditional uses that aren't particularly material to it, so I will skip that. I'll note that in the DBD1, the downtown business district, that's where offices for licensed professionals are permitted. Just so you know that, I did check into that. But since licensed since licensed micropigmentation services are not permitted in the B2 district, a D1 use variance is required, and here we are. Brief touch base with the master plan materials. The 2007 master plan has a new land use plan in it, which simply designates this property for commercial use. Nothing more embellishing than that. But I recognize why office use is designated here, simply deducing that the intersection, that triangle, is an intersection where accidents have shown up more so than other places in the community, and that's noted in the master plan circulation plan. But it makes little sense to load up an area like that with high volume in and out traffic for retail uses. So the most appropriate economic use, I think, becomes naturally office use. So it makes sense here, and I'm comfortable that what we're proposing is a good fit here for the same reason that office belongs in this location. We have a low turnover, low intensity use to insert in the space available at 191 Hamburg Turnpike. The 2017 re-exam report mentioned only in the last paragraph that the business zones outside of the downtown zone can be used to to drive economic growth in the community. And what you heard in Ms. Cortez's testimony was that her clients will need to be fairly affluent to afford her services. It's a good thing to bring people with that kind of income into a community that wants to strengthen its merchant base, and you do that by attracting people just like that. So I think it plugs into the master plan realm very nicely as an appropriate use because of that, among the other things that it does. So what would be the basis for granting the relief that we're requesting? This is a commercial use, although it's pretty close in my mind, based on what I've heard, and you did too, to an inherently beneficial use. It is not named that in the land use law, and I'm not representing that it is. It is a commercial use, and because of that, it is evaluated under the Medici standard, which is a 4-part evaluation. I'll just go right through those 4 parts. First, we start with particular suitability of the site. Is the site particularly suitable for the proposed use? I found by my analysis that it's particularly suitable for 2 reasons: by virtue of the condition of the space and by the context of its setting. As to the condition, the space is mingled with offices of other licensed professionals as I stated, including doctors and dentists. The nature of the proposed use highly similar to the nature of those professional offices. And I won't detail the points about how it is also similar, because I started my comments with that. But the adequacy of the particular space is my finding, because of the appointment-only basis. There's adequate signage, parking, waiting, restrooms, ADA accommodations, and the space can easily be made compliant to Board of Health requirements, which must issue and renew every year the license for this type of use. As to the context of the setting, I believe the site, which is at the junction of the major and minor arterial roadway system, can be easily found by virtue of the prominent address signage. The low traffic office uses are particularly suitable here. I touched on that a moment ago. So we have a good match of the use intensity and location. The building is fully within a business zone intended for these types of offices in general. A mixed multi-tenant office building was recently enlarged across the street, and that houses similar uses. So the board at that time found that was particularly suitable location for accommodating offices such as dentists and acupuncturists. Other special reasons, now part two of the analysis, the aspects I just mentioned of particular suitability of the site advance the general welfare, which is purpose A of the municipal land use law. There are other purposes that this application does advance. The general welfare is also advanced by providing for a proper, safe, sanitary, and private facility for micropigmentation to assist in the restoration of dignity and self-esteem to clients who have experienced disfiguring interventions for their health and well-being, and those seeking to enhance their appearance. Purpose G of the land use law is to provide for a variety of commercial uses in appropriate locations to serve to meet the needs of the citizens of the state. Clearly, this service is rare, and we intend to deliver it professionally as it's intended to be, discreetly and with privacy. So that purpose is squarely advanced. Purpose I is also advanced. No change to the physical appearance of the site, so the visual character is preserved. Purpose I is to promote a desirable visual environment. And purpose M, the final purpose in the land use law, this advances the repurposing of this space with a highly compatible use by a licensed practitioner is efficient use of land. And purpose M speaks to promoting the efficient use of land. Now moving into, those are the positive criteria, moving into the negative criteria. Again, I'll try to be brief. I see no detriment of a substantial nature here. The site will continue to function as an appealing location for professional offices with or without this use in there. So there's no basis for a detriment on those grounds. The operation of the use is nearly identical in nature to the operation of existing permitted offices of other licensed professionals. The parking and access are adequate and safe, and I concur with your professionals' findings of that very fact. Adequate parking does indeed exist, but I can speak to questions if you have them on that. There's no evidence that the use will be visible from the exterior of the building. The proposed use is similar in operation and intensity to the prior use and to other building occupants. Appointment-only scheduling. The Unit Owners Association, I understand, welcomes the proposed use by its recent action on that question. The required Board of Health license is renewed annually, allowing for intervention should it be needed for non-renewal, in the way of non-renewal, if any unanticipated issues we don't cover tonight might arise. For these reasons, I find that there's no detriment whatsoever to having this use here, let alone any detriment that would rise to the level of substantial. The final part of the analysis, this is not permitted here, so by allowing it, does this create an impact on the intent and purpose of the zone plan or the zoning ordinance for the borough? And I see no substantial impairment to either. The space is a small part of the overall zone, so it's not tantamount to rezoning here. Still going to look like an office building as was intended by the zone plan. There will be no evidence of change that this use is even there. here, if you wish, leaving unchanged the character, the location, and the integrity of the intended results. We close with a look at the enhanced quality of proof. The final step here, is this use inconsistent with the intent and purpose of the zone plan? Because the governing body presumably looks at the zoning and still has not allowed this use here. Simply put, this is an emerging land use and probably not on the radar whatsoever as the governing body contemplated uses that might be in any of its non-residential zones. So because it is so similar to a traditional medical office, I find no basis for finding that the use is inconsistent with the intent and purpose of the zone plan and zoning ordinance. So those words that I know people love to hear, in conclusion, the applicant satisfies the required proofs of the Medici analysis, and soundly at that. The applicant has put forth a very well thought out, well-considered application and plan for success here, and I submit to you respectfully your approval is warranted. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Solano.
And one question in regards to the previous use. You said, what was the specific previous use for this space?
There was a tax consulting office.
Okay. Do you have any,
No, I would agree with the testimony that was provided, and I would just, add to it that the fact that this use isn't contemplated in town at all is, well, I suppose you could argue that it is because you don't want it. I think it's more likely that it's because nobody thought of it. It's a uncommon use, it's a relatively new use, and it's just one of those things that is probably a good example of why D-variances exist. Now, you can tell me otherwise, that you all thought of this and you were intentional, but I would expect that more likely, like I said, it was just not contemplated.
anybody else on the board have any questions for?
I have one.
Go ahead.
It's not, well, how, if you do not have any signage, how will people know that you're there? What are your plans for advertising?
Mostly it's nowadays on Instagram and Facebook, but more so than that.
Come on up, the mic has to capture you.
So right now, all my clients are basically Instagram or Facebook based, but more so than just, like, I don't even really advertise, it's all word of mouth, which benefits me luckily. But yeah, it's usually just word of mouth and who did you go to, or who knows about this? So that's mostly my business base. And also just because I'm local, so a lot of people just know me from school or my family or something like that, luckily.
Okay. Thank you.
I think it's important because of this location that was chosen when my client purchased it, is because as Mr. Pesolano had mentioned, there's no outside signage. So the building remains a very discreet building. In a sense, when her clients will be going to the location, part is because they want that privacy in order, so it's not a sign that says micropigmentation available. So if somebody's going there and parking their car there and there's other medical offices, it provides that client a little bit of, it provides them privacy and security that there's no sign outside. So they're going into the facility, it's a private entrance. Therefore, it remains in a sense between Michelle and the client that what procedure they're getting. So in a sense, it works out perfectly. There's no sign outside, that it's word of mouth, and by her doing a great work, and then, other patients may talk to another patient and may recommend, and I think that's how her business will grow.
And really, the only advertising I do is Pompton Lakes local, where it's just my name, it's not even explaining what I do, so it's like, oh, well, what's this? And then, people just start talking, basically, that way, versus like a billboard or something.
But you're not going to be doing regular tattoos?
No, I have a separate location right now for that.
That's a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
There's that a lot.
Yep. Next to
Pretty
Simon.
big. Pretty big.
And Simon.
That's the building that's down.
Yeah.
You state that she purchased the property. Is this a condominium or she owns the whole building?
Well, she owns that unit. It's a professional condominium.
Or is it a lease?
She purchased it, she owns that unit.
Okay. So you-
And part of our application that we provided, the actual HOA board, the chairman of the HOA board provided an endorsement that they fully endorsed the opening of this new business in there.
Yeah.
So it's in a sense condominium suites, and she purchased that one particular unit because it's perfect for what she envisioned with her micropigmentation building because it was a former, as Mr. Pesolano said, it was a former tax office, so that it's a professional building. So it's a suite that can be easily converted to look like a paramedical facility right next to the dentist's office, MD's. So it suits perfect for that business, so her clients can feel that they're entering into a medical facility for their, for these cosmetic procedures. And I think that's why she purchased it. And also, as we had mentioned that in her testimony, she's been a resident for 25 years. She's one of your own. She's Pompton Lakes through and through. And she wants to grow her business here. And as Mr. Pesolano had mentioned, and Michelle had mentioned, people who are going to get micropigmentation are usually going to be in the higher economic bracket. So in a sense, it can also benefit the other businesses in Pompton Lakes, because the fact that this is, as technology grows and as there's more sophistication with technology and the youth figures out new ways how to prosper with technology, there's going to be other places, other communities in New Jersey where micropigmentation is going to rise up as a clinic. And Pompton Lakes will be one of the first that will have one, and a lot of these higher bracket clients will be then driving through Pompton Lakes, becoming clients and customers of other businesses in Pompton Lakes. And Pompton Lakes could be one of the first in New Jersey. There are other areas in New Jersey, but not many, as Michelle had mentioned. So we could be one of the pioneers in fostering a new business that is grown as technology grows in micropigmentation.
Any questions? Okay, what we'll do now is we'll open up the questioning of the applicant's planner on his testimony regarding this application. And then I see none. I would say that we're going to close that session.
Thank you for your courtesy. I'll sit back.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. So,
Need a motion to approve the application for D-variance and site plan as presented.
okay, so, can I get a motion? Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call. Sorry?
Motion to
Frank
approve.
made the motion, I second.
David.
Here, okay. All right, Mr. Hunt,
Yes.
Mr. Abate,
Yes.
Ms. Curran,
Yes.
Mr. Cost,
Yes.
Ms. Bernstein,
Yes.
Mr. Rowan,
Yes.
and Mr. Luciani,
Yes.
and Mr.
No,
Capula.
that's only 7 votes. Only 7 for Dave. So whoever the alternate, no, it's only 7 votes for Dave. Unanimous.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dave, 5-7, you get 7 votes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Resolution.
Yep. All right. Oh, you're gonna tell them about the resolution?
No.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, well, resolution will be, I'm certain,
Yes.
Yes.
resolution will be adopted at next month's meeting. Obviously, if they want to move forward, they could go to the construction board and sign a waiver. And you know that someone may challenge it, go to court, but you can get your permits to be able to start if they go sign a waiver.
So next meeting, there'll be the actual vote on the resolution. That's
Yep,
correct.
and that'll be.
If you want us to attend, or you can.
No, you don't.
And then the resolution will be emailed to me, I'm assuming, once it's voted on?
Yep. And published a few days later.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Michelle, good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck, good luck.
Thank you. Congratulations, Mr.
Carly, it was a pleasure working with you. I inundated Carly with emails, so.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to resolution BOA 23-09, 36 Perrin Avenue. They had an opportunity to read that resolution. Are there any changes, corrections to the resolution? If not, can I please have a motion to accept that resolution?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Okay, Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Ms. Curran?
Yes.
Mr. Cost?
Yes.
Ms. Bernstock?
Yes.
Mr. Rowan?
Yes.
Mr. Luciani?
Yes.
That's it.
What if I did?
It's just on a fee variance, only 7 votes, because they need 5 votes, that's enough by that.
New unfinished business. I would ask Jared to report on open space.
We did not have a meeting this past month.
There was no meeting, so we will not have any report on that.
Yep.
I will open up the meeting to the public. Anybody in the public like to come forward to
Public.
talk to the board about any subject? I see no one other than Richard Proctor. So I will close that session. Can I please get a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. The world record. Thanks.
7 motions.
Who seconded it? Mark.
It is something.
Yeah, Mark seconded it. Poor guy.
It looks so neat.
Well, we had it.